Hi, and welcome back to Walk, Run, Soar. It's day 14. I always have to think about it. We are doing number 18 in the book. As you can see, I've got some lovely scenery. I'm out here in Washington State, celebrating my mother-in-law's celebration of life here in the next day or so. So I would ask, if you're watching this, or even if you're watching this way after the fact, just prayers for the family. It was, they knew it was coming, but I don't think that ever makes it any easier. So prayers for the family for sure. So number 18 in the book, like I said, is called Traversing Life's Trails. The verse is John chapter 14, verse 6. Jesus answered, "I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." She shares a story about a few years ago when she first ran her first trail race. And if anybody's ever run a trail race before, it is just way different than obviously running a road race. She shares, "Part of the thrill was that I never knew what to expect. For most distance races, I train, I fuel up, and I settle into a pace after the first mile or two. This was different because I did not know the path ahead." So if you've ever run trails, you're up and down, there's curves, and for me, I have to make sure that I don't run too fast and trip over the roots and rocks, and it's hard to settle into a pace on a trail run. It's very hard. And she talks about, how does that perfectly mirror life, we don't have the ability to see what's coming ahead, and we get curveballs sometimes. We just, and you could be going along thinking everything, at a good pace, and then all of a sudden a curveball gets thrown at you in life. I'm sure everyone has experienced that at least once. And in the verse that she had shared, the verse right before that is Jesus talking to the disciples, and he is talking about how he's going to be going on to his Father's house to prepare a place for them. And Thomas, who we all love, says, "Lord, we don't know where you're going, so how do we know the way?" And then, he proceeds with the verse I already read, that he's the way, the truth, and the life. And that's how they'll get there, is through him. So she talks about, like I said, how the trail run is hard because you got the rocks, slippery dirt, tree roots, blinding sun, bugs, other runners. And a lot of time on a trail run, your path is like this big, as opposed to a road, you got room, and it can be hard. And she talks about the beginning of the race. The first mile was a downhill, so she was kind of, got this deceived feeling. Oh, it's like, I got this, We all love the downhills, right? But she says, "But downhill can often be deceiving. This is similar to times when our lives are comfortable. On the downhill, we have to be even more conscious to stay under control. Watch the path for things that might trip us up, and maintain good running form so we don't get hurt along the way." And to relate that to life, I think when times get hard, that's when we'll really dive into that quiet time and all of that. But shouldn't we have that same discipline when things are good? I'm terrible about that, but that staying in his word and staying in his presence even when things are good. Maybe, I really don't know, but maybe when those curveballs get thrown, it helps absorb the shock, I'm gonna say. So she says, after that downhill first mile, all of a sudden for that next mile, they were going uphill. And she started out feeling strong, but it didn't take too long. Her legs got tired, the obstacles were there, and she started to feel discouraged and ashamed. And that's what she relates to when her first husband passed away, when she had her, that hard season of grief. There were many days that she felt worn and weary, overwhelmed by the steep path ahead. But she knew that she had to keep moving forward because she had 3 young daughters. And she continued to hope in the Lord. And back to the race that she was running, after a point she just had to walk. She couldn't keep running up that uphill. She had to walk to get the rest of the way, and she felt discouraged because of that. But then she shares, walking was not giving up, it was still moving forward. And before she knew it, she was over the ridge and continuing on her way in the race. So I think that it's really easy to feel discouraged when things get hard and you feel like you're not reacting to it well. But walking is still moving forward, or even crawling is still moving forward. So when those hard times come, you know, if your reaction is to pick up his word or to have that quiet time, talk to him, I think that is exactly what you need to do. And that is still moving forward in your relationship. It's not just throwing it all away, if that makes sense. Oh, and she also shares that there was another lady that was kind of running with her. Then she ended up, actually meeting and learning the name of this person later. But that thanked her for pacing, for allowing, being the pacer for this particular lady. And she laughed on the inside, was like, I wasn't even trying, but I'm glad that I offered encouragement to someone. And so she shares that when we have those hard times, we don't always know who is gaining courage from following in our footsteps. So I think that's something awesome to remember. All right, her faith step. What are some of the things God has taught you while running? Are you experiencing any downhills or uphills in your life right now? In the Psalms, David writes, "Teach me your way, O Lord, lead me in the straight path." She says, make this verse the start of a prayer. And then just add your own words after it. The inspirational quote is one I've heard before. It was said by Dean Karnazes, American ultramarathoner, and a lot of people have heard this. Run when you can, walk if you have to, crawl if you must, but never give up. It's a good one. In our training notes from Coach Sean, I think a lot of us might know this. When you're running uphill, take shorter steps and pump your arms a little bit more. It helps keep your momentum and to keep your focus forward instead of looking at your feet. That's definitely helpful. And then on downhills, try not to lean back and land hard on your heels because it's like applying brakes. Try to use that momentum of gravity. Let your feet and legs roll underneath you with a faster cadence while maintaining control. So I thought that was a good one, especially with, my family members that I'm around right now, and they're going through, their season of grief. So keep us in your prayers. We appreciate it. And I will see you tomorrow for day 15. See you then.